Hello everyone, this is Lakshmi Ganesh, Assistant Professor, Civil Engineering Department, Asarikar Engineering College. Welcome back to my session again. Today our topic is flow-through siphon. In the previous lecture, we discussed about flow through the long pipes. In that we have replaced with different types of pipes. It means pipes in series connection or parallel pipe system. And now it is flow-through siphon. See, all these things are regarding connecting reservoirs. Whenever you want to connect two reservoirs, or if you want to send your water or fluid through some certain pipe, there are various types of pipes can be connected using a series of pipes, different diameters, different lengths, or they may be connected in a parallel way. And another way is flow through siphon. This is a figure that you are looking on the screen is a siphon diagram that was already in your material, right? See, this siphon connection is useful when your reservoir don't have any outlet. If your reservoir don't have any outlet, but then you want to send that fluid from that reservoir to another one, then this siphon can be used. Or if your reservoir, when while connecting two reservoirs, if you are facing some problems, if you have any large or if you have any high elevated nothing but hill like structure, if at all any hill like structure or heavy terrain, high terrain is objecting you in providing a straight pipeline, then this type of siphon can be used. And coming to this siphon, see, the mechanism involved in this siphon is somewhat confusing, right? See, whenever we know that fluid always goes into the low lying areas, but here the fluid, whichever the fluid that is in this tank, whatever the fluid that is in this tank is it flows to the tank B. See, there are two reservoirs, reservoir A and reservoir B. These two are connected with siphon. The water or fluid which is in reservoir A will go into this reservoir B through this siphon. See, when the fluid wants to move through this siphon, it must go to a highest point which is higher than the level of fluid in the reservoir A. And it may not possible directly, but with some giving some internal suction, then the fluid enters here. Whenever the fluid starts moving to this downside, or whenever the fluid starts moving down this point, the level of fluid in the reservoir A, then automatically the flow continues without any application of external pressure. The flow simply moves without any application of pressure to the point. When you are thinking of this, you might get a confusion how it will go to the upper height. How it will go to the upper height. Now we will discuss here. See, this is also the same diagram. This is the another type of connection. In earlier one, the outlet connection is at this bottom, or this is the tank where there is no outlet. In this diagram, you can observe a tank which is having no outlet point, but this type of connection is made from the top. See, it may not be possible for a fluid uh, to enter into this upper elevation on its own, but it needs a little suction. See, for example, you may have seen this type of things. If you want to remove a fuel from your fuel tank of your car, or if you want to remove fuel from a tank of a generator or something, it may not be possible for you to turn the car upside down to get the fuel out. So in that time, you can use this concept. What means, you can simply put a pipe into that fuel and simply give a little sucking pressure. It means negative pressure. Simply suck the fluid into the tube and remove that. Simply leave the tube. Then automatically the fluid in the tanks comes out through the tube. It is called siphonic action. How it will works out means, see, generally, let us consider this diagram. Generally, whatever the point 1 and 2, here observe the 1 and 2, these two are at the same level, both will have the same pressure. And if you observe, let us take this point. I'm drawing another point. Let this be point 4. If you want to calculate the pressure at this point, simply pressure at 1 plus rho g h, nothing but h. See, if you want to calculate pressure at this point 4, it is simply the pressure at 1 plus rho g h. We have already discussed this point in our classroom, nothing but when it is in fluid statics. Now we are in fluid dynamics. See, whenever 2 points are on the same level of the fluid, then the 2 points will have same pressure. So obviously the liquid, whatever the liquid that is in this cylinder or this tank, will move up to a height of 0.2, up to this height on its own. Sure. And if you want to move this upwards, see what happens whenever your point is going downwards, you are getting a positive pressure. See, this is atmospheric pressure 1, and if you are taking 0.4, this atmospheric pressure 1 plus rho g h, density into gravity into the height, nothing but you are getting a positive pressure. When you are going downwards, you are getting a positive pressure. Similarly, when you are going upwards, consider this point, the highest point, apex of this curve, this highest point, let this be 0.5. If you are going downwards, obviously you will have positive pressure. If you are going upwards, you will have negative pressure, right? If you want to move this fluid into this tube, you need to suck at this particular point. Sucking means it may be through your mouth, or you can use any mechanical device. It may not be possible in this earlier case, reservoir case. In this case, it may not be possible to suck. They'll use some other mechanical operations to simply just connect the points 2 and 3. See, if your flow starts from point 2, and if the flow continues to flow from below this point, if your flow continues below this point, then obviously without any application of external pressure, whatever the fluid that you are connected from the inlet will come to the outlet, right? Why this happens means it is due to because of this air pressure and gravity. Generally we have a doubt whenever the fluid enters this region, see, at this particular point, let this be the apex point. From this apex point, whatever the fluid and in this lower region may come this side, and whatever the fluid that is in this side may come this side. Our assumption is like this. See, we may assume like this. From the apex point, the water or fluid, whatever in the tube in the left side portion, will come down in the left side, and right side portion come down to the right side. But this is not true. Why? Because whenever the fluid, see, let us assume this portion, let us assume this portion came downwards. Obviously there is a gap. Wait a second. See, let this be your apex point. Whenever the fluid in the right side portion comes downwards, let us assume that left side portion is not coming. Left side portion just came up to here. Then your right side portion moved up to this point, and whatever the point that is left is here, is you won't have any air in that pipe. So obviously this is vacuum. What is vacuum? It is a negative pressure. Obviously your fluid flows from high pressure area to low pressure area. Whatever the fluid that is in left side of your pipe will enter into this vacuum simply, and obviously the flow continues. Whatever the fluid that is in the right side portion will come downwards due to the gravity. Why? Because observe this, always siphon has two portions, left half and the right half. Your right half portion is more than the left half portion. Why? Because if right side portion is more, means more length, it means more fluid. Obviously more fluid means it will have more weight. Obviously it will go downwards. This more weight will take this less weight upwards. Simply these are simply interconnected. Obviously your more weight is moving downwards, means your less weight will come upwards. So in this way this siphon will come downwards. ఏం జరుగుతుంది అంటే ఈ పార్ట్లో మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడ సెంటర్ అనుకుందాం. మనకి జనరల్గా ఏమనిపిస్తుంది అంటే ఈ రైట్ సైడ్ పోర్షన్ ఇట్లా కిందకి వెళ్ళిపోయింది, లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ పోర్షన్ ఇలా కిందకు వస్తుంది అనిపిస్తుంది. కానీ అలా జరగదు. ఎందుకు జరగదు అంటే ఒకవేళ ఈ రైట్ సైడ్ పోర్షన్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కొంచెం ముందుకు జరిగింది అనుకుందాం, ఇక్కడ దాకా ముందుకు జరిగింది అనుకుందాం, ఈ లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ పోర్షన్ ఇక్కడ ఆగిపోయింది. ఈ మిగిలిన పార్ట్లో ఏముంటుంది, గాలి అనేది ఉండదు, వాక్యూమ్ ఉంటుంది. వాక్యూమ్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఆబ్వియస్గా ఈ వాటర్ ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దాన్ని ముందుకు లాగుతుంది. వాక్యూమ్ అనేది నెగిటివ్ ప్రెషర్. మన ఫ్లూయిడ్ ఎప్పుడు కూడా హై ప్రెషర్ నుంచి లో ప్రెషర్ రీజన్లోకి వెళ్తుంది. సో ఇది లో ప్రెషర్ కాబట్టి ఈ లో ప్రెషర్ రీజన్లోకి వెళ్తుంది. అలా ఫ్లో అనేది కనెక్టివిటీ కంటిన్యూస్గా ఉంటుంది అనమాట. దీని ద్వారా ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇనీషియల్గా సక్ చేసినప్పుడు ప్రెషర్ ఇవ్వడం వల్ల ఈ వాటర్ ఏదైతే ఈ లెవెల్ని క్రాస్ చేసింది, ఈ లెవెల్ ఎందుకంటానంటే ఈ వాటర్ లెవెల్, ఈ లెవెల్ని క్రాస్ చేస్తే ఆబ్వియస్గా ఫ్లో అనేది కంటిన్యూ. What happens in siphon? It doesn't mean that whatever the height this is. See, there is a specific height between this apex and this top of the reservoir, top of the fluid at the reservoir, fluid level in the reservoir. See, there is a specific height. Let it be small h. You cannot provide whatever height you need. There is some limitations. Why? Because if this h is more, if this is h is more, obviously your fluid won't flow, it will come down again. Why? Because you see, this depends on pressure concept. Generally whatever the pressure, we'll develop a equation for this height h. We'll develop a generalized equation for this height h. If at all your h is more than that value, then the water won't allow to flow, or the fluid won't be able to flow. Why? Because of this vapor pressure or negative pressure that develops, that will suck the air in the water and air bubbles will form. Obviously whenever air enters here, you will have some. Now coming to the HGL and TEL of the siphon, generally the length of the siphon will be considered as this initial length plus final length. This is the initial length. This one is length of the inlet, and this would be the length of the outlet. Length of the inlet plus length of the outlet will give you the total length. This is length of the outlet and this is length of the inlet, right? And while drawing this HGL and TEL, generally they will consider the projected length of this siphon, nothing but it will be same as a single pipeline that is connecting these 2 points. While drawing this HGL and TEL, the pipe will be considered as a normal pipe, not as a siphon. And for that, here we have already again, this is the entry loss 0.5 V square by 2G, and whenever the fluid flows in this siphon, frictional force acts as a resistive force. Obviously frictional loss will be considered, and then this is exit loss. Exit loss is denoted here V square by 2G, right? And this head loss capital H can be written as simply summation of all the losses, entry loss plus frictional loss plus exit loss, that we have already discussed in earlier lecture. And coming to this pressure points, see, I have already told you that whatever the point that is considered below this level is positive and above this level is negative. When it comes to this siphon, the level of the fluid, nothing but the level they'll consider as this HGL line. The fluid which is below this HGL line is having positive pressure, above this HGL line is a negative pressure, right? And after, whenever the fluid starts moving and when it crosses this line, that is level of fluid in the upper reservoir, when it crosses this line, obviously then the flow continues without any stoppage, right? And coming to the derivative part, I have already told you this H is nothing but difference in 2 levels, that is sum of various head losses. It is simply entry loss, frictional losses and exit loss. And now for calculation of this pressure at this summit point, or for calculation of this H, we are going to derive one equation simply by using Bernoulli's equation. That is the only equation that we'll use in this concept. So applying Bernoulli's equation between A and S, the equation is like this. Applying Bernoulli's equation, see at particular point A, that is the top of the liquid surface in the reservoir, it is P by W, it is PA by W. Generally it is the atmospheric pressure plus V square by 2G, where V is 0 in this particular case, and Z, let us consider that level of the point A as datum head. So obviously datum is 0. And now coming to the point, summit point, it is P by W, that is nothing but pressure at summit point, PS by W, plus let V be the average velocity of the flow, V square by 2G, plus H. H is the distance between the summit point and the point A. As we have considered the datum as point A, H is the height, nothing but distance between the summit point S and point A, plus head loss. This is nothing but entry loss and frictional loss in the inlet pipe. Observe here, it is Li. It is Li. Only we have considered entry loss. Why? Because while you are considering this Bernoulli's equation between the 2 points, there is only entry, there is no exit, and the length of the pipe is also inlet length. So if you transfer all these terms to the right side, then H will become as this one. And what this H is nothing but distance between the level of fluid in the upper reservoir and the summit point. This is nothing but summit point can be placed, nothing but peak point of the siphon can be placed at this much of it, less than this much. If at all, if goes greater than this much, then obviously the flow does not continues. Why? Because vacuum pressure will go high. Obviously, whatever the air bubbles that are in the fluid will be sucked to the top of the position, that is nothing but at summit, and then cavitation will be formed, nothing but air bubbles will form, then they'll separate the flow, right? And coming to a problem, without doing a problem, you may not understand the siphon concept. So let us consider an example. Here I have considered an example. This is the question. A siphon of 250 mm dia, nothing but pipe diameter is 250 mm, connects two reservoirs A and B, similar to the earlier figure, having a difference in elevation of 16 meters. Having a difference in elevation of 16 meters. That is nothing but the level between upper reservoir fluid levels, difference between fluid levels of upper reservoir and lower reservoir is 16 meters, already represented in the diagram. And if the total length of the siphon is 650 meters, that is inlet length and outlet length, and summit is 4.2 meters above the water level in the reservoir, this is 4.2 meters. If the separation is occurring at 3 meters of water absolute, I have already told you at this particular point, generally vacuum pressures exist. Generally vacuum pressure is around, our atmospheric pressure is around 10.1 meters of water, that we have already discussed in absolute pressure, atmospheric pressure concept. During that topic I have already discussed this about absolute pressure and atmospheric pressure. There we have identified atmospheric value, it is 101 kilonewton per meter cube, or this 10.1 meters of water, 10.1 meters of water. Similarly, vacuum pressure, if you consider this atmospheric pressure as a datum 1, vacuum pressure is minus 10.1 meters of H2O. But generally, in practice, that much of pressure won't exist at this point. Generally, it is of around 7 point something meters of water will exist here. Here it is 3 meters of water absolute, that is the pressure at this particular point C. Find the maximum length of the siphon from the upper reservoir to the summit, that is nothing but L1. You need to calculate L1, take frictional factor value is given, an atmospheric value that I have told you 10.3, it is 10.3 meters, right? Coming to the solution, let us write the data. The diameter of pipe was given. See, the only thing we will do here is we will apply simply Bernoulli's equation between the 2 points, then you will get the answer. You are supposed to be aware of this Bernoulli's equation. Now the diameter D is 250 mm, that is 0.25 meters. H, that is the difference in reservoir levels, is 16 meters, which we can equate to the head losses. L is total length of the pipe, H is the difference between summit point and the reservoir level, F is frictional value, pressure head at summit is 3 meters of water, atmospheric pressure is 0.3 meters. Right, applying Bernoulli equation between the point A and C, nothing but your reservoir level, this A, applying Bernoulli's equation, this point A, between point A and C, right? Simply we know that PA by W plus VA square by 2Z plus Z1 is equals to PC by W, W is nothing but rho Z plus VC square by 2Z plus ZC plus HF1. Here, obviously you know this velocity and datum. We consider datum as the reservoir level. Obviously datum will become 0, velocity will also become 0 as there is no velocity at the surface point. And pressure at this particular level is 10.3 as it is open to atmosphere. It is atmospheric pressure 10.3. And now PC, it is already given that pressure at this particular point is 3 meters of water, it is 3, and let V be the average velocity, V square by 2Z. And ZC is nothing but distance of this point C from point A. As we have considered datum as A, it is simply 4.2 already given here, plus HF1 is nothing but loss due to friction. HF1 can be written as, this is simply loss of head, it is simply equals to, bringing all the terms this side, it is 3.1 minus V square by, right? Next, now applying Bernoulli's equation between the 2 points A and B. A is there as a top of the level of reservoir A and reservoir B top level. So applying the Bernoulli's equation between these 2 points, again the equation is the same. Here it is an atmospheric pressure. Generally you can write it as 10.3 here. And VA is 0. ZA, now here the thing is you have considered datum as level of B. Here now in this case it is applying between these 2 points. Here you have considered datum as B level. So obviously ZA is 16, ZB will become 0. So it is ZA is 15, PB it is also atmospheric pressure, you can write 10.3. Obviously these two 10.3 values will get cancelled. But in this question it is directly written as 0. Why? Because it is already cancelled value, it will definitely cancel. And VB square, it is also open to atmosphere, its velocity is 0, ZB is 0. And now HF is loss. Generally we will consider majority of loss as frictional loss. Already this entry loss and exit loss will also be there, but we will neglect them. Why? Because as they are very less when compared to this friction loss, we are equating this friction loss 4 FLV square by 2ZD is equals to 15. See, you have considered the 2 points. Between the 2 points there is the total length of the siphon. So that is why here you have written FLV square by 2ZD, L is 650, and here you will get V. When you get V, simply substituting that V in the earlier equation, then you will get HF1 loss in that particular first equation, you will get it as 2.748 meters. And now equating these 2.748 meters to the loss is nothing but again frictional loss, majority of the loss 4 FLV square by 2ZD, but here you have considered L1. Why? Because only you have considered the 2 points A and C. Between A and C the length is only inlet length, it is L1, right? Simply substituting, you have already known frictional value, average velocity, diameter of the pipe. Simply substituting all the values, you will get L1 as 119.1 meters. What is the total length here? It is around 650 meters, I think. Here it is given 650. See, 650. Definitely your inlet length must be less than the outlet length. Why? Because we have already discussed earlier, whenever this outlet length is more fluid will be available in the outlet length. Obviously the weight of the water is more, that will bring the whole water to the lower reservoir. So that is the reason definitely this whatever the value that you will get must be less than half of this value. That is nothing but it must be less than the outlet length. Okay, with this we will close this session, siphon problem. Kindly go through the textbook and kindly solve the examples that was given in the textbook, so that you may get a clarity regarding this siphon topic. If you are having any doubts regarding this siphon topic, you can contact me. Thank you.